Good morning, Alan here. Share another 5 minutes of recovery. As always, I like to say that I'm not a professional speaker. I'm not representing any specific 12-step fellowship. I'm just here to share my experience, strength, and hope with you guys in the hopes that maybe someone who's struggling with the disease of addiction sees my video and seeks help. So today, what I'd like to talk about is hopelessness and how I got to the point of hopelessness. So really quick, I'm not going to go into a whole story about my life experiences and all of that other stuff, but I will share my last experience with hopelessness and how it led to my recovery this time and how miracles work in my life and how they could work in your life too. So I'm on a run and it's pretty bad and I'm struggling and I'm in and out of detoxes and rehabs and I just can't get it and my last big struggle was with gambling as well as substances, and so I got like three different addictions going on and I'm getting to the point where I don't even want to exist anymore. And then I do some stuff that isn't real legal, of course, and I wake up and I'm incarcerated. And I remember being so angry and wanting to and hurting so bad that I wanted to hurt others. And I like to think that I'm not a violent person by nature, but like I was in so much pain. And thank God I didn't hurt anybody. But I was angry and I was broken and I was completely hopeless. And I just didn't see any reason to live anymore. I had come off of a run that prior to the run I was sober for 4 years, and I just stopped working the steps and the principles in my life. And as a result of doing that, like I just continued to backslide until I picked up again. And and um and I'm just really grateful that I'm alive today. So I'm in jail and I'm in contact with some people that are in my support network that are practicing members of 12-step programs, and little by little they start to instill a little bit of hope in me. And at this point, like I just figured like I lost my family, I lost everything that I had worked for, and like there, what was the sense? Like I was just gonna spend the rest of my life in and out of jail if I wasn't dead, right? And that's where I was, and that's a really dark place to be, right? And so I continue to over time, like talk to my friends and my mentor, and they continue to instill hope in me. And long story short, I get in touch with some rehab, and a guy like me that's been incarcerated as many times as me, like there's no chance of a rehab. And so like this is how my God works in my life. So I get a kid in a cell with me, and he's young, he's like 19, and he keeps talking about going to this rehab and going to this rehab. And he tells me how I should write them and I should call them, and I really don't want to hear it, but just to placate the kid, I do. I write him a letter. Somewhere deep down inside, maybe I was like, just maybe, you know what I mean? And long story short, they respond to the letter. I contact them. The person on their other end says he thinks he could help me. And at this point, I don't really believe that anybody could help me. I think that I'm just have a long incarceration ahead of me because of my record and my past. And we get in front of a judge, and prior to going in front of the judge, this guy had made a deal with the probation department to release me to this program. And he gets and he talks in front of the judge, and I have some support still, and my network is in court, and they get up and they speak in front of the judge, and the judge, like he hears everything, then he hears from the prosecutor, and he asks me if I have anything to say, and everything that the prosecutor and everybody else said was the truth, and I really didn't have a lot, except that if he gave me a chance that I wouldn't mess it up. And he looked at me and he looked me in the eye, and I was facing 3.5 to 7 years in prison. And he told me that, and he looked me in the eye and he said, there's a really good chance that you're probably gonna do this again. He said, but there's also the hope that maybe you could get some help and do something different. And he said, today I'm gonna go with the hope. And he sentenced me to a small county sentence on the condition after the sentence that I finish the treatment program. And I got to tell you that if that's not God working in my life, then I don't know what is. So I went from being hopeless to having a whole lot of hope. And in the oncoming months, what happened is I remembered, right? Like you talk about the gift of desperation, and I kind of remember like that feeling of hopelessness, and like I became willing to do whatever was necessary to get and stay sober a day at a time. And that was the beginning of my journey. And I later on finished my incarceration, went to that program, completed that program successfully, came home and like just jumped right back into the 12-step fellowship that I choose, right? And I got with my mentor, who's my sponsor, and I told him that I'd be willing to do whatever was necessary. And he said that I had to, otherwise I could find another sponsor. And we went through the step process. And I got to tell you that like the 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 miracle of the steps and the people and the support, and like it's unbelievable. All I needed was some willingness, right? And so like that's all we really need to start. Like I don't have to worry about believing in God. I don't have to worry about any of that stuff. All I needed was willingness to want to do something different. And so that's what I did. And that's what I still do to this day. Like so we went through the step process, and as a result of doing that, like I try to take other people through that process. And every time that I do that, I get the opportunity to check myself and make sure that I'm practicing the principles in my life. And I got to tell you that like talk about hope, like, and inspiring. Like this is serious stuff. Like if a guy like me that comes from the places that I came from, and I'm sure a lot of you have come from the same places, if I could get and stay sober a day at a time, there ain't no reason why anybody else is. So I'm not sure if I went. I pretty sure I went over my 5 minutes of recovery for today, but I just wanted to try to instill some hope in somebody, and I hope that whoever watches this that's in need of treatment seeks it, right? And you could always reach out to me. All you got to do is connect through the Facebook page where I post a video, and I will definitely do whatever I can to get you help. So thanks and have a great day.